Gentlemen, they spilled the beans on another G-Shock watch. This time it's the GMC-B2100. This is a category of watch I call the church watch because this is a nice-looking metal watch, metal bracelet. It's part of the 2100 series, so it's an analog. And unlike other anti-digi watches like the Casios, this is full analog, all right? No LCD screen. We have subdials. And I believe that the C in GMC stands for chronograph. And by the way, as a Ford guy, I don't know how I feel about them using the initials GMC, but, let's just look at the watch, okay? And I found out about this on G Central, okay? And they are the ones who reported the bean spilling, who initially spilled the beans. We're going to have to discuss this, but let me jump into this article, again, from gcentral.com. New full metal G-Shock GMC B2100 Chronograph series leaked. Another all-new full metal octagonal 2100 series is expected to be coming soon. WatchUseek user L&W shared images of the upcoming G-Shock GMC B2100 on the G-Shock forum of WatchUseek.com. According to Instagram fan account Morgan G-Shock, the watch is, quote, about to be released, end quote, in two variants, silver with black dial and silver with light blue dial, with a price, quote, slightly higher than the full metal GMB 2100. All right, let's jump in. So the GMB 2100 is a metal Casio that's a lot like my GM 2100. Actually, I have a GMB 2100 too. This is the GAB 2100 CT. Remember, guys, we got this one on the bestseller list in and around Father's Day. All right. And this particular one has the eco fabric strap. All right. So you take this watch and you put it in a metal bezel, metal bracelet, and then that's the GMB 2100. And of course, like the whole 2100 series, there are so many permutations. There are many different color combinations, many different colors of metal. All right. And of this series, this new series, the GMC B2100, as a metal bezel, metal bracelet, and it's shiny as metal indices. Let's jump back into the article. According to the leak images, there are some significant differences between the GMC B2100 and the GMB 2100. The GMC B2100 has a full analog display with three analog hands and an electric crown, unlike the GMB 2100 with an LCD display and two analog hands and an LCD display. All right, let me jump in here. I believe that that's a typo. I can't parse that sentence, but let's just jump back in and move on. Two of the three main subdials are the day of the week indicator and the mode indicator that includes a battery level indicator. It also has a dual time subdial and a small 24-hour dial that acts as an AM/PM indicator, which are also expected to work with a stopwatch and timer as they do with the GRB 300. In stopwatch mode, the series is able to measure up to 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds, and can also measure split times. The main second hand indicates the seconds elapsed, and the dial time subdial hour and minute hands indicate the hours and minutes, with a 24-hour dial indicating hours beyond 12 hours. The timer length can be set using the Casio Watches app with Bluetooth or with the electronic crown, and the timer can be set in 1-minute increments up to 24 hours. The GMC B2100 has a date indicator and is expected to have an alarm and LED light. All right, let's jump in. Okay, so I believe that what the author of this article on G Central is trying to say is I think that he's assuming, based on the similarities with the GR 300, GRB 300. Oh, the Gravity Master. Okay, yeah, so look, the Gravity Master has the same arrangement of subdials. Okay, and so I believe that this author is assuming that the functionality would be the same, which would be a 24-hour countdown time or a 24-hour stopwatch. Stopwatch goes up to 24 hours, and the timer length up to 24 hours too. Okay, that's good news. All right, we've had a lot of G-Shock releases that have pathetic timers. Okay, including the more advanced MIP display ones, but also like a lot of other watches have pathetic timers. Okay, it's just so insane that they would make 1 hour timers. But I was reading, I believe like the new GMC-B2100 and a lot of these new watches, they have a timer on there to like tick the box that has a timer, but a 1 hour timer is useless. And some of you be like, well, how often do you use a timer? Today I used a timer. I was out on a job with Shane wearing the Mudman, still have the Mudman on, okay? And he wanted me to record the pressure and temperature and the details of the job we're pumping on a well every 10 minutes. He wanted me to write that down for the engineer. So yeah, I use a timer. Every 10 minutes I would jot down the pertinent information for the job and then get the timer going again every 10 minutes, all right? And by the way, on my Mudman, the stopwatch is still rolling. We're at our 759 hours, 35 minutes, and 37 seconds. Okay? So in 141 hours, we'll be rolling over to the 200. Sorry, I know you guys are planning on watching the live stream of when the watch rolls over for 1,000 hours on the stopwatch. I've had the stopwatch going since I think November. A commenter was making fun of me. Every time this rolls over, we want to watch the Mudman roll over 1,000 hours of the stopwatch going. But each time I miss it, okay? And then I'm like, oh, yeah, next time we won't miss it. Well, it's happened several times, right? The stopwatch is still going. 1,000 hour stopwatch. And so these other watches that G-Shock are making, like this one's saying the stopwatch goes to 24 hours. Okay. I mean, he's assuming. And that the timer also 24 hours. Well, a 24-hour timer or a 1 hour timer is pretty dumb. A lot of these new watches have 1 hour timers. Anyways, so jumping back into the article, one of the leaked images with the series has the series name as a description, Full Metal 2100 Chronograph. So apparently the C in GMC stands for chronograph, aka a stopwatch on an analog watch. The GMC-B2100 is expected to have a stainless steel screwback case under the stainless steel bezel like the GMB-2100, along with tough solar power and Bluetooth smartphone link. All right, so we can all be really happy that they have the tough solar, right? And so the GAB 2100 series has that tough solar. And the Bluetooth, I mean, a lot of guys in the comments will defend Bluetooth. They are Bluetooth enjoyers. I think that, they use that in lieu of multiband 6 in areas of the world where there is no multiband 6. But I am a multiband 6 user, okay? And I know a lot of you are too. And what's the big deal? Just add multiband 6. Like, how much more expensive does it make the watch just to add a little microchip for multiband 6? I don't get why it's such a big deal, all right? Just add it, and then you could be like, oh, this has so many features. And if the people don't need to use the multiband 6, they don't have to, all right? Like the GWG-B1000 has Bluetooth and multiband 6. The MTG-B3000 has Bluetooth and multiband 6, all right? The Mudman, of course, the Mudman has multiband 6. No Bluetooth on the Mudman. It's like the best watch if you don't want the Bluetooth. So those two watches, they look real nice, and so Morgan G-Shock on Instagram, I don't know if he's the original bean spiller, okay? Because this article on G Central says that, L&W on Watch You Seek spilled the beans, and then also credited Morgan G-Shock with providing information. So one guy spilled the beans initially, and then the other guy kicked them all over the place, all right? But we can look at the this Instagram post. If Instagram will allow us, it's part of the stupidity of Instagram. Oh, wow, look at that blue. I mean, here it looks like I don't know, aquamarine? What would you guys call that color? I mean, it's not like there's a blue dialed GMB-2100, and it's on the bestseller list, and it's like a rich deep blue, right? But this blue is like, what's that word? Lapis lazuli, aquamarine. It looks like some gemstone in this picture here, and this picture's leaked. Maybe in the leaking process, the colors got washed out. But there's two colors. And Morgan at G-Shock wrote, Casio is about to release the latest improved version of G-Shock's popular series 2100. The new product has changed the traditional dual display design, canceling the LCD screen in the lower right corner, and will adopt a more traditional 3-eye pure pointer dial. The new model is named GMC-B2100 with a full metal case and bracelet. The first color scheme includes an ice blue dial using a meteorological deposition process and a more versatile black dial, a total of 2. The two new products will be available for sale soon, and the final price is expected to be slightly higher than the previous generation of all-metal GMB-2100. All right, so that's Morgan from G-Shock. I just read that from him. And so, gentlemen, which color do you prefer, the blue or the black? All right, I like the black face of the new GM. Let me go to G-Shock because they have released a new watch, a new the GBM. All right, do all of these designations confuse you? Maybe I should make a tutorial on how to understand these G-Shock, the G-Shock naming scheme. Your guide. But I'll make a YouTube video. But this is a watch that's been recently released by G-Shock, the GBM-2100, and it has a resin band and a metal bezel. And the black one, I think, out of 3 colors, looks the best to me, just looking at pictures, because of the contrast from the black dial and the hands. There's a contrast there, okay? So normally I'd be like, hey, colors are nice, but you know me, BBB, big, black, boring, all right? But in this picture that Morgan G-Shock shared, I think there's a lot to say about this blue color. Now, how accurate these blue colors are to how the watch will actually be, I don't know. But looking at this ice blue color here, like I said, it's kind of aquamarine color. I kind of like it more than the black. But it's one of those things that you have to see in person, I think, because a lot of times I've looked at pictures of watches and thought, no way it's going to work. But then when you see it in person, it's something else, right? So, G-Shock forum of Watch You Seek. Here's the post from L&W, all right? And I don't know if he was the initiator of this bean spillage, but gcentral.com gave him some credit, all right? And look, you scroll up on this forum and look what you see. Mudman 1-year review by Jim Kincaid. And who shared it? Peter030. Listen, Peter, thank you. Thank you for sharing my video. And so he had some good things to say. I appreciate you sharing. And here's RB. RB chimed in. I believe that this is the same RB that sometimes we see in the comments of G-Shock videos on YouTube, right? And both of these gentlemen are from the Netherlands, I guess. And I think that they would agree with me when I say, if you ain't Dutch, you ain't much, right? All right. Well, I appreciate it. And also, you scroll up a little more, I happen to see that my review, first impressions review unboxing, I guess it was an unboxing of the G-Shock GW6900 NASA, was also shared on the Watch You Seek forum. I am so honored. Again, by Peter030. And Nazarene from Greece chimed in to say you liked the video. And I appreciate that, guys. Thanks for sharing the video. I enjoy making these videos, and all the comments and the interactions with everybody, all the back and forth. And like I said in one of those videos, I guess it was the Mudman video. Casio gives us a lot to complain about, right? There's so much excitement, in their watch releases. They make so many watch releases on the G-Shocks, and it's like, sometimes they throw us a bone and there's something we're really excited about, but there's always something to complain about. Okay. So that's a good for business when our business is critiquing watches online. Right. And, a lot of times it's not about the critique. It's about the friends you make along the way. Right. Like Peter030 and RB and all them. But anyways, and Nazarene, but I'm excited about them getting rid of the LCD screen on this GMC-B2100. And the reason is that, when you're looking at a casual watch, like say this is the GA2100, right? And I have it on the Corridor band, and I think the Corridor band is terrific. But when you look at this watch, the LCD screen, it's kind of, I don't know, like juvenile, little, it's not classy, right? And I like it. It has its place on a G-Shock. But when G-Shock's making these nice metal watches, their G-Steel line or the MTG line, I think that the LCD can be kind of out of place, all right? And so what I call metal watches is the church watch, right? And, I try and, dress up a little bit for church, and, my Sunday finest. Right now, my church watch is the MWQ100. And this is just a regular Casio watch, and it has two LCD subdials, okay? But it's pretty cheap. It's an El Cheapo Casio for being metal, right? Let me ding it. I'm dinging it against my Yeti to prove it's metal. May have scratched it up some. Yeah, okay. Oops. The problem with this one is that the mineral glass screen stands proud of the bezel. All right, so that dinged it up. But I think also throwing it into my G-Shock toolbox also dings it up. And I noticed that this metal bezel also scratched up the back of my WS. What is it? The WSB1000? Where is it? That's not even it. Here it is. Yes. WSB1000. I'm going to be making, a review video of this one. I really like this one. Okay. I'm turning into a step counter type of guy. And I think that this is becoming pretty popular. It's a good design. And so, all right, so the church watch category, that's what I call them. That's what I call a church watch. It's like, it's not a luxury watch. It's not a casual watch. It's, a dressy watch for a middle-class guy like me. It's nice. It's like I'm paying up for a classier watch, right? And so this looks really nice, and I really like its look without the LCD screen. And some of you have complained that the LCD screen is just too small on the 2100 series, right? And so I could see that, right? I'm nearsighted, so I don't have a problem reading it. But if you are farsighted, I could see, because the numbers are very tiny on the 2100 series LCD screen. All right. So, anyways, I think that I was pretty disjointed in my earlier rant about the countdown timer and the stopwatch, right? But I think that the author is assuming that it will have similar functionality to other G-Shocks that have the same subdials as a GMC-B2100, and those particular watches have 24-hour timers and 24-hour stopwatches. So we're hoping the same for this one, okay? Because like I said earlier, 60-minute timers are just useless. They're unacceptable. I mean, it's stupid to even have it on there. Like, we're supposed to have hyper advanced technologies nowadays. So why they would be having worse timers than they have in the past is beyond me. And I was talking about the timer on the Mudman, and again, it was a very disjointed rant, like all my rants are. But when this one gets to 1,000 hours, we're going to see what happens. We're going to watch it roll over, if I can remember. And it's coming up, like I said, in about 241 hours, right? So set your calendars. All right. And speaking of church, I was down here in on Sunday, so I went to Midland Reformed Church, okay, because I was in the Midland, Odessa area for work, and I where my buddy Bob was telling me to come down, right, and he told me there's a lot of watch guys there, including him, right, so I wore my MRQ 100. And yes, there were a bunch of watch guys. It seemed like Fossil was a pretty popular watch among everybody. And this particular church, Midland Reformed, it meets at this is kind of crazy when I tell you about this. It meets at a former card club, like a poker club, a Texas Hold'em. A church in Texas meeting at a former poker club / barbecue restaurant, right? So Sunday morning you go in, and it's a Reformed church, Presbyterian, right? And I believe they are on YouTube now that I mention it. Let me just plug that. We'll go to YouTube, youtube.com, which is a website, a great website. It's overall, I recommend youtube.com, for videos, for G-Shock videos. And I am on youtube.com. You type in my name, Jim Kincaid. You should find my channel. It's dedicated to, right now, we're hyper focusing on, okay. So you turn on YouTube, and then you go to Midland Reformed. Type it in the top. And I know a lot of you guys don't even live in the area, but I know that some of you do, right? And they're online. Look, there's a Pastor Cody, right? I don't know if you watch a video, maybe you see the back of my head. So that's it. Midland Reformed Church, and their avatar is John Calvin. John Calvin, he passed away a while ago, but they're still using his face as the avatar. Interesting choice. Oh, and here's another crazy thing, right? So this church, like, you have the service, right? And then there's a meal, and then there's something called Ministry of Smoke. All right, where there's a discussion among the gentlemen who attend about various theological topics and life topics and other things, and while we're smoking cigars, right? And so that's something different, right? And I don't know how many other churches engage in a ministry of smoke type of thing, but apparently there's enough preachers, enough Christian preachers online, that there was a tournament to find out who was the best cigar smoking preacher. Okay, and this was sponsored by 1689 Cigar, and they called it the 1689 Cigar Tournament. Dead Man Walking Podcasts, all right? And so yeah, it was a tournament, right? So I'm thinking that, we should get Pastor Cody in there on the tournament next year, next time they have it, right? 1689 cigars. I feel kind of dumb for not knowing the significance of 1689. Anyways, and you guys like cigars? And so these church watch, I would like to save up and get a better church watch than this El Cheapo Casio, but I am sticking to a budget. All right. Oh, and one other thing I forgot to mention about Midland Reformed Church. The Ministry of Smoke, they're trying to tell me that they're switching over their dress code for the Ministry of Smoke. You have to wear flip-flops. Like during church, you can wear your cowboy boots or whatever, but during the Ministry of Smoke, flip-flops. And really interesting reason as to why you would have to wear flip-flops. Yeah, I'd have to tell you in person. You'd have to be there. So bring your flip-flops if you want to stay for Ministry of Smoke. Then that's at Midland Reformed Church, Midland, Texas, and it meets at a former competitive card club / barbecue restaurant, right? And I hope that, I'm wondering if that's the craziest thing that you've heard. What was I saying? Yes, I want to save up to get a better church watch, but I have to budget my funds, right, for watches. Those of us who collect watches, we can go overboard, right? Because especially with G-Shocks, they're always pumping out brand new watches, brand new colors, brand new features, brand new models, old models dressed up. For example, on the G-Shock website, that I was following the King, and I have a King, and this King, I made a lot of videos, YouTube videos, about how I do not like the negative LCD screen, and I'm being polite. It makes me furious, and I've made so many rant videos about the negative screen. Like, how does it leave the factory? How do they sit there at Casio G-Shock and be like, oh yes, let's release this to the public, a barely legible watch. It's only legible under certain conditions, but let's bring it to market. How does it happen? Because I like this watch so much. I'm like, just make a negative screen, right? Well, they finally did. They finally listened to all of us because, like I said, this is something I've ranted about, and you guys too in the comments have made a comment that you got to get the positive screen back on the King, right? And they listened. So the GX56TU. Oh my goodness. Hold on. All right. I was about to tell you guys how it came back into stock, right? So what happened was it went out of stock for a couple days, and I made a video. I was like, guys, I told you when this came out to get it, right? I put the link in the comments to buy it from Casio. It's an affiliate link. It helps the channel. You get the watch directly from G-Shock, right? And a lot of you guys did, but some of you didn't, okay? A lot of you guys bought the watch from the link. Thank you. And you guys are all set, right? Some of you were like, I'll do it later. I'll get around to it some other time. And then boom, it's out of stock, right? And so for a few days, the Positive Display King was out of stock, and you guys are tearing out your hair thinking, Dad gummit, should have listened to Jim Kincaid when he said to buy it. Should have clicked the link. And then you're just playing over and over in your head, thinking of if you had clicked the link, the watch would have been on the way, right? You could have been the first one in your city to have the GX56TU, but you didn't do it, and you regret it so much, and you were just wishing you would have another chance. Well, your chance happened yesterday. Yesterday, it came back in stock, and as I said in the video, maybe they found a pallet in the back, right? And at that point, some more of you click the link. You're like, all right, it's back in stock. Jim Kincaid let me know. he I put that short up. I was like, hey, it's back in stock, guys. I found the pallet in the back, so there's more. Okay, well, look right here. Let me zoom in. I believe it is back out of stock. It says notify me. If it was in stock, this would say buy. The buy button's gone. It says notify me. It is back out of stock. All right. So you'd have to enter in you have to log in to enter in your email address to get a notification when the GX56TU is back in stock. It's sold out twice. I mean, technically, it's not a sellout. Sold out would mean be completely gone, but it's out of stock again, okay? If there's a watch you want, just buy it, all right? Make sure it's in your budget. I'm not purchasing this one now because I have a budget, like I was saying earlier. I call it my war chest, right? So my war chest turns into this G-Shock toolbox. See? There's a whole bunch of them. I guess I'm a collector. I have a whole bunch of them. Listen. That's me playfully tossing them into the metal toolbox, right? I already have a king, and I believe that if you have several watches, one of them should be a king, okay? Shouldn't be your only watch because it doesn't fit on your sleeve. It's pretty big, but it's a cool watch to have. Even better to have in a positive LCD, okay? And so I'm looking at my budget, which I call my war chest for purchasing, my watches, primarily G-Shocks, and the money's not there for this GX56TU. And I'd like to do some tests on it in order to compare these mud-resistant buttons to the Mudman's mud-resistant buttons because they're a totally different type, all right? But I'm going to have to pass this one. Part of the reason is because I won that contest to get the NASA GW6900. That kind of blew up my war chest for the month, okay? So I gotta keep the money in the war chest because of the GD010 coming out, right? I really want to get that one, try that one out because, like I said, they're listening to us. They're watching my videos. They're reading your comments, and they're making a basic rugged watch, which is the GD010. So we want to be ready for when that one comes out. I have to have money in the war chest to get that one, okay? And so, if we build up the war chest enough, and then the GX56TU comes back in, then, Lord willing, I'll purchase it, okay? But yet, I'm sticking to my budget. You guys have to too. But, like I said, if you're interested in a watch, get it. Don't dilly-dally, okay? And so, coming up on the channel, I did a step counter accuracy test with the WSB 1000, the step counting watch. Me and Denise went walking around, and she was wearing the DWH 5600. And so we compared, the features and the steps. And I was wearing the GBDH 2000 on my right wrist. And so I was comparing the step counters, okay? So I have to edit that video, and that should be coming out soon. And Denise ran that race with the DWH 5600, and she came in third in her class. And thank you for everybody who congratulated her, and she appreciates that. And stay tuned for those videos. And again, guys, beans have been spilt, okay? And we're just rolling around the beans of the GMC-B2100. Remember, gentlemen, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except through him. I'm Jim Kincaid. Thanks for watching.